Hello there and welcome to Tom's Warhammer Minis. The Archon of a Kabal lead the raids and battles with a mix of malevolence, cunning, arrogance, self-assuredness and deadly martial skill. Now for a long time now, I have personally wanted an Archon that felt aesthetically right within the 40k universe that just matched that classic artwork. And this year Games Workshop, you pulled it off with perfection. This new model is fantastic and a joy to paint. In this guide, like my many other Drukhari tutorials, I'll be showcasing how to achieve the Cabal of the Poison Tongue scheme using contrast paints. It also has my own interpretation, adding a lot of blood red, being that striking colour contrast against the rich blue. And, as a bonus, there are 0 armour highlights on my model that are required. And yet, of course, it still has that heavy metal style of finish. So, grab your paints, grab your brushes, let's get... And we're beginning with our Drukhari Archon. Now, I built it in that classic artwork style, with the helmet, with the little flame, with the sword. He is awesome. Now, to begin with, to note, he is primed in White Scar, and I've already gone ahead and done the base to save me time, because I'm quite handy and adept at just getting around the base. It's not going to be an issue for me. If you are copying that, very simple. It's Doomfire Magenta, Hard Coat, a Grell and Earth, and then just layer it with Storm Shield to seal those bits in so it doesn't chip off. Anyway, let's move on to the main event, the actual model. First of all, we're going to focus on all the blue armour. Nice and simple, we need an underlayer. This is going to build up to the dark blue of the Cabal of the Poison Tongue. If you see my other tutorials, you know exactly what we're doing here, so let's not mess about. Frostheart, take 1 part of this, 3 parts of Lahmium Medium, mix it together in a palette, apply it all over to get this effect. Once it's dry, we're going to take black Templar. This is just going to be for our soft armour. So we've got the gloves, you've got between the arms, as you can see, not really much to do. And then you just got the little neck. I've also done a little rope here, because I'm going to do that in black Templar too. And then you've got the grip handle of the little dagger there. That's all I'm focusing on for the black Templar at this point. So we'll get that done, let it dry, and then we'll move on to the next stage of the armour. Next up, we're going to focus on the cloak, and we're taking the blue to the next stage. So let's start with the blue. If you've seen my other videos, you know where we're going with this. We're taking Asurmen Blue, and we're creating a 2-to-1 mix. So 2 parts Lahmium Medium, 1 part Asurmen Blue, essentially turning this just into a sort of shade, but still a contrast paint, and just tinting that blue to this kind of stage. This is going to be our edge highlight colour, and you'll understand when we get to the next bit. Let that dry, and we can focus on all of the cloth details. Now, traditionally, you'll see a lot of black cloth and cloaks with Drukhari, because obviously, you know, they're Dark Eldar. But we also want to think of the model. The Cabal of the Poison Tongue is this dark, vivid blue. Obviously, it's not going to be this bright, but you've got this bright as the edge highlight. So a bright blood red will be really great in contrasting, and we're creating this as an underlayer. The colour is Gryph Orange. It's a 1-to-1 mix with Lahmium Medium. Just beware of pooling. Obviously, it's got a little bit heavily here, but that's okay because it's going to create shadow effects. This is not the end product. We're going to be adding more to it in the next step. So apply it all over. Just beware of shading, pooling, sorry, and you can easily get into the areas between the cloak. I thought it might be challenging. It's not. So get that done, let it dry, and we'll move on to the next step. Next up, we're going to enhance those colours to the next stage. Let's focus on the blue first, because this pretty much finishes it off, although we will be adding a shade paint in the next stage. First of all, we're going to take into a palette 4 parts of Leviadon Blue, and that's going to be the dark colour that you see. We're going to add 1 part of Stormfiend, mixing into that, which creates the richness of the blue. And we're going to add 1 part of Lahmium Medium, and that's going to help with the flow, give us control of the paint, and just help tie those colours together nicely. So essentially what we're doing here is we're painting it onto the surfaces, up to the edges, not including the edges, leaving that previous stage showing through as our edge highlight. It means the armour is practically complete, and it looks heavy metal style. Now, one thing to note, where you've got his cheekbones on the helmet, what I've done is I've painted that mix that we just created into it, and as soon as it's in there, I've washed the brush with a damp brush that's clean, with a little bit of water, but not too much water. I'm just mixing the paint around just to dull the colour, but not go over, you know, too dark. Just gives a nice little natural shade effect that when we apply the shade in the next stage, it's just going to enhance through. But for the rest of it, this is kind of what you're looking for. Now for the cloak, it looks a bit odd at the moment. Trust the process. We're going to be enhancing it later on we're going to take Baal Red, and in the exact same process, although we're not thinning it down, we're painting it on the surfaces, up to the edges, not including the edges, leaving a highlight in place. It looks glarish. Trust the process. We're going to add something in the next step to tie it all together and finish it off in one go. And it's time to finish off our blue and red details. It's going to be really simple and it's really effective. Starting with the blue, we're going to take Tyran Blue shade. Now this is one of my favourites. We're going to apply it straight over all the blue armour, and essentially what it's going to do is it's going to take the blue that it was and just enhance it. It provides more depth, more saturation. It just enhances the blue, makes it vivid, makes it bolder, and ties all the darkness and light parts together in one unique way. Just let it dry and you're done with it. That's the blue armour complete. The red's going to take a little bit more. Not that much in that sense. We're going to start with the cloak. We're going to take Flesh Tearers Red. We're going to thin this down quite heavily into a glaze. So we're talking 1 part of Flesh Tearers Red to 6 parts of Lahmium Medium. It takes away the strength, but when it settles into the recesses, it creates some nice dark shadow. And again, it takes that bright vividness that we had before and just ties it in correctly and neatly with the red of the actual cloak, again putting that depth of shadow into place. Obviously, thin down heavily, it's going to be very runny. It's pure ink, and it is going to settle heavily. So keep an eye on it. Just move the paint about. If you need to, wipe it off the brush, clean it, get rid of the excess until it's a nice even layer that you want. We're doing this over all the red cloth details, both inside and out. Once that's drying, we're going to take pure Flesh Tearers Red. And over these wraps here, I've painted it straight over that. Essentially, we're having that nice contrast of blue versus red. Now, while that's drying, we're going to move on to the eyes, as well as the chain of the necklace. Again, red being the opposite of blue is a perfect contrasting colour. We're going to take Evil Sunz Scarlet. There's no point using contrast paints for the necklace. It's so small. Just take the layer paint, paint it straight over. Same for the eyes, just fill in them with the Evil Sunz Scarlet. Now once they're dry, and once the ribbons are dry, we're going to take Wild Rider Red. This is just to do fine edge highlighting on here, and to just dot the eyes. Nice and simple, and all of our red is done. And next up, we're going to take Sigvald Burgundy. This is going to be for the weapon grip of the main husk blade sword that the Archon's carrying. Nice and simple, there's not really much to it. We're not thinning it down. We're just going straight over that, making sure it settles in the recesses nicely. Then, moving on from that, we're going to focus on the base. I'm taking Skeleton Horde here, and this is going to go over all the different rocks that we see. Essentially, we're going for that Wraithbone kind of style. So once again, just paint it on, getting it into all the recesses. Moving on from that, we're going to focus on the vines, first of all, that we see here. Nice and simple, just paint it in Wildwood. Once again, it's not thinned down, it's in its purest form. But then we're going to take Wildwood, and we're going to take Agharos Dunes. This is going to be for the horns that we see up here. Essentially, what we're going to do, we're going to start one horn at a time. I'm going to base coat the whole horn. This is what I've done in Agharos Dunes, both sides. While it's still wet, I'm going to clean the brush and get a drop of Wildwood. And I'm painting it from the bottom to halfway up, making sure you've got a nice coverage of that Wildwood. Then, clean the brush, go back to Agharos Dunes, again while the horn is still wet. The Agharos Dunes on the tip of the brush, just a small amount, because we don't want to pull it heavily everywhere. We want to put where we finished it and just create this natural transitioning blend. It will mix with the Wildwood ever so slightly, like you can see here, but it will thin it down into the Agharos Dune colour that's already there and just bring it up, creating that nice transitional blend. It's quite easy to do. Just take your time and it creates this nice blending transition. Next up, we're going to shade our Skeleton Horde a little bit more. We're going to take Seraphim Sepia, nice and simply, it just gives it a bit more definition in all of those recesses, just apply it straight on. Moving from that, we're going on to the Flame. This is only if you've built it. I'm taking Bad Moon's Yellow and I'm painting it as a base coat straight on. Once again, think of this as an underlayer. We're going to enhance it in the next stage, though what I'm going to be doing next won't require any highlights unless you choose to. Moving on from that, we're focusing on all the gems and the little face. And I've opted for Doomfire Magenta, similar to the red, but it contrasts nicely against the blue. But it's a very strong, vivid paint. We want to thin it down, and I've created it in a 1-to-1 mix with Lahmium Medium. Once that's done, paint it straight on. It won't be excessively dark, but it'll be dark enough to settle into the recesses and have this real bright, bold, vivid finish. You've got 3 on the front, down here, chest, face, and then go to the back. You've got 1 here, 1 there. Nice and simple. Moving on from that, we're going to focus on the energy cable. Now, I've not contrast painted it because there was no point. It allows us a bit of wiggle room with all that blue, just to be a bit messy. We're going to take Moot Green and treat this, rather than a layer paint, treat it as a base paint. Just paint it straight over that energy cable. Nice and simple. Next up, we're going to take Hexwraith Flame. This is going straight over that Bad Moon's Yellow for the flames that we're doing here. Now, I have gone and highlighted it, and this is because I've caught a bit of the blue paint when base coating all of that onto the flame. And simply, you can just use layer paints just to correct mistakes like that. So the colour, if you do want to highlight it as well, just to make it a bit more vivid, is Phalanx Yellow. Just simple little edge highlights up along the flame like that is just going to pick it out. Obviously, it looks a bit messy at the moment. That's because you've got the metallic bit to paint, but we'll cover that in the next step. Moving on from that, we're just going to do a couple of highlights just to save a bit of time and get everything ready before the metallics. To begin with, we're taking Fulgrim Pink, and this is going to be for all of our Doomfire Magenta details. Nice and simple, we're just catching all those little edge highlights too. Moving on from that, I'm taking Pallid Witch Flesh, and I'm using this as a dry brush. Nice and simple, it's over the skeleton horde, it's going to be over the horns, and if you've done the base, I've done this for the basing as well. Nice and simple, including the little vines. Next up, we're going to highlight that Sigvald Burgundy. We don't want it too bright with Fulgrim Pink, so we're going to go Pink Horror. It just works very nicely with the Sigvald Burgundy colour. Moving on from that, we're going to base coat our metallic details. Nice and simple for all of our silver details, which aren't many. We're taking Iron Hand Steel. This includes all the little spikes. You've got the main blade of the weapon, all the little hooks and stuff. That's what we're looking for. And for our gold bronze details, we're going with Brass Scorpion. It is a layer paint, but it works nicely as a base paint too. Simply, we've got all the main armor sections, as you can see, going around. Take your time, just pick them out. The ones we need to be careful for are the little medallions. I've done the outside edge of them, but obviously we don't want to catch the pink, we don't want to catch the other details. And some of these sections are already attached to them, like the main body. For example, this chest one, we just want to be careful. Just the smallest tip on a small airbrush will get that done nicely. Wait for it to dry and then we'll shade them. Next up, we're going to shade and highlight our metallic details. Starting the blade, we want a poison kind of hue to it. So I've taken Mantis Warrior's Green and Lahmium Medium, 1-to-1 mix, and just apply it straight on. Moving on from that, we're taking Nuln Oil, and this is for our remaining silver details, but not all of them. Any little spikes on the leg, there's no point doing. We want that natural shine in place, but for all the hooks and stuff where there are little bits of recess shading that we can do, we've just applied it on there. Following on from that, we're taking Reikland Flesh Shade, and this is for all of our Brass Scorpion details. Nice and simple, we're not missing any out here, we're just doing them all, except of course the little tiny things like this. Once again, where it's the chest area, we don't want to spoil the blue, there's no point of ruining that shine. Once it's all dry, we're going to highlight our metallic details. For all of our silver details, just a bit of Stormhost Silver. The real edge highlighting is the main blade, just around the little dagger bits like this, and obviously the hooks and stuff. It's up to you whether you want to do spot highlights on the little spikes. I haven't, because they're not shaded. The metallic glint is already still there. For all of our Brass Scorpion details, just nice simple edge highlights of Canoptic alloy, really brings them out nice and brightly. And next up, we're taking Ardcoat as a gloss varnish. We're going to apply it over all of our Doomfire Magenta pink gems, as well as the face. And I've applied it over the flame too, just to give it that real natural light shine when light hits it. And finally, finishing off the blade, no Jakari blade would be correct without it having faced, obviously, a lot of bloodshed and war. We're taking Blood for the Blood God. Quite simply, I've taken a small layer brush, stippled most of it off, but not all of it completely, into a piece of paper towel, and then we're just stippling it on randomly, as much or as little as you want. Both sides, finishing off the model. All we need to do now is apply some tufts or some basing, whatever you desire, and our model is complete. And there we have it. Quick, simple, and just fantastic. My Archon is fully complete, and it is just really striking and awesome, this paint scheme. And it is just overall such a great, fantastic model. It just really adds that desire for a range refresh we all desire and want for the Jakari. Now, be sure to give this video a like And please do share. Not only does it mean that others get to discover the channel, it can inspire their models too. And subscribe to support the channel and see all the latest that I put out there. It means a lot, and the result is I get to continue making more content for you, the awesome Warhammer community. And it's all free. So until the next time, do look after yourselves and happy hobbying.